Stop for a second, because someone noticed something about you that you never thought mattered this much. Not your voice, not your words, not even your smile at first. It was the way you carried yourself through the world, the way you dressed when nobody important seemed to be watching, and what they secretly said afterward changed the energy around your name completely. You think people only notice expensive things, loud things, perfect things. But some people notice details the eyes cannot fully explain. That is why this message found you tonight. There is a person connected to your future who has been silently studying your energy for longer than you realize, not in an obsessive way, in a curious way, a deeply emotional way, as if every color you wear, every small style choice, every quiet expression hidden in your appearance, tells a story about the person you are becoming. And what struck them most was not your beauty. It was the contradiction inside you, because one moment you appear distant, untouchable, almost mysterious. Then suddenly there is softness in the way you move, a gentleness hidden behind your confidence. They noticed this instantly. They even tried to explain it to someone close to them, but the words came out incomplete. They said, "There is something about the way they dress that feels honest." Pause there for a moment. Do you understand how rare that statement is? In a world where so many people are trying to become someone else, they saw traces of authenticity in you. Even when you were not trying, even when you doubted yourself, even when you looked in the mirror and thought nothing about you stood out, someone noticed. And what happened next became even more unexpected. After seeing you, they began comparing everyone else to your energy without meaning to. The way others tried too hard suddenly became obvious to them. The way some people copied trends without identity started feeling empty, yet your presence stayed in their mind because your style carried emotion, not performance. Stay with this message a little longer because the deeper truth has not arrived yet. There was one specific moment they cannot forget. You wore something simple. Maybe you almost changed before leaving. Maybe you thought nobody would care. But the second they saw you, something shifted internally, not because of the clothing itself, but because your energy matched it perfectly. They later described it as someone dressing like they already know where they belong in life. And that sentence stayed with them afterward, because they have met attractive people before, but your energy felt rare. It felt peaceful and striking at the same time, like someone who has suffered quietly yet still chose elegance instead of bitterness. What if I told you they noticed the hidden emotions behind your appearance more than the appearance itself? They noticed the resilience, the silent confidence, the exhaustion you sometimes hide behind looking composed. Yes, even that. Sometimes emotion reveals itself through style without a person realizing it, and they saw it. Not everyone can recognize depth, many only see surfaces. But this person kept sensing there was a story behind your eyes, behind the way you present yourself to the world. They began wondering what shaped you, what heartbreak refined your energy, what loneliness taught you how to become this calm version of yourself. And strangely, instead of running from that mystery, they felt drawn closer to it. They spoke about you when you were nowhere around. Not loudly, not dramatically, quietly, carefully, almost protectively, as if speaking too much about you would expose feelings they were not ready to admit yet. And the surprising thing they said was this: they don't even realize how unforgettable they are. The moment those words left their mouth, silence filled the room, because the people around them expected compliments about looks, but instead they described your presence like an experience, a memory, a feeling that stayed long after you disappeared. That is the difference. Many people are seen, very few are remembered. And you, without realizing it, became unforgettable to someone who is deeply tied to your future path. But here is where the story turns. They're beginning to understand something remarkable. The more they try to ignore you, the more details about you return to them. The colors you wear, the confidence in your walk, the softness hidden in your eyes when you think nobody notices, the balance between strength and gentleness that feels almost impossible to explain. You are becoming a thought they cannot silence anymore, and tonight something inside them is changing because of it. The strange part is that you may still think none of this is real, you may still underestimate the effect your presence has on people, but energy never lies. And before this story ends, an even bigger revelation is about to unfold about the exact outfit they can never stop thinking about. You will understand why soon. Not every connection begins with words. Sometimes it begins with a single glance that lasts half a second too long. And they are starting to realize that the moment they noticed the way you dressed, something irreversible quietly began inside them. Because after that day, they carried your image into places where you were not even present. Late at night, during conversations with other people while pretending to focus on ordinary things, your energy kept interrupting their thoughts without permission. And the strangest part, it was never about perfection. It was about the feeling you created without trying. There was one evening in particular that they replay in their mind over and over again. The lighting was ordinary. The moment itself looked small from the outside. Nothing dramatic happened. Yet they remember exactly how you looked when you turned slightly away for a brief second, almost lost in your own thoughts. That moment shook them more than they expected because you looked peaceful and distant at the same time, as if part of you was somewhere far beyond the room you stood in. And suddenly they understood something remarkable. You are not dressing to impress the world, you are dressing according to the quiet evolution happening inside you. They noticed something else that most people completely missed. They noticed that your style changes with your emotional energy. When you are healing, your appearance softens. When you are focused, your energy sharpens. When you are protecting your heart, even your colors seem quieter somehow. Most people would never notice these things, but this person did without realizing it. They started reading your emotions through the smallest details. The way your sleeves moved when you crossed your arms, the way you adjusted your clothes when feeling uncertain, the way confidence suddenly appeared when you felt seen by the right energy. And one sentence escaped from them before they could stop it. I feel like they're becoming someone important. Those words were not about status, not fame, not money, something deeper. They feel your future before it fully arrives. That is why your presence unsettles them sometimes, because every time they look at you, they sense momentum, transformation, something unfolding quietly beneath the surface. And here is the part nobody told you. They secretly admire how you remain yourself in a world constantly pressuring people to perform. Even when trends change, even when others copy each other endlessly, there is still something unmistakably you about your energy, and that authenticity became something they couldn't look away from. Stay here a little longer because the story becomes more emotional. At one point, someone asked them a simple question about you. What do you even see in them? For a moment, they could not answer. Not because they lacked feelings, but because what they feel for you cannot be explained logically. How do you explain the comfort of someone's energy? How do you explain the calm feeling that appears when they walk into a room? How do you explain why one person among millions suddenly feels familiar to your soul? They struggled to find words. Then quietly, almost under their breath, they answered, "They feel real." That answer surprised even them, because deep down they have met beautiful people before, charming people, interesting people. But your energy carries something rare, sincerity mixed with mystery, and mystery is powerful when it is genuine. The more they notice you, the more curious they become about the life you lived before they met you, the heartbreaks that shaped your silence, the disappointments hidden behind your maturity, the dreams you stopped telling people about because too many misunderstood them. Somehow they feel all of that without you speaking directly. That is why this connection is becoming impossible for them to ignore. And there is another detail they have never confessed openly. Sometimes they intentionally look away from you because eye contact feels too intense. Yes, even that surprises them, because your energy carries emotional gravity now, a kind of quiet pull not loud attention-seeking energy, but the kind that slowly draws people closer until they suddenly realize they are emotionally attached. They are trying to understand why your presence affects them this deeply, and the answer is unfolding slowly. You remind them of the life they secretly wanted but stopped believing was possible. A peaceful life, an emotionally safe life, a meaningful connection, untouched by games and performance. That is why even the way you dress feels symbolic to them. It represents honesty, self-respect, inner evolution, quiet confidence. You became proof that softness and strength can exist together. Before this message continues, hear this carefully. Do not shrink yourself to become easier for others to understand. The right person was never looking for someone loud. They were looking for someone authentic, someone whose energy speaks before words do, someone exactly like you, and they are finally beginning to admit what they tried hiding for so long. They are no longer just noticing you, they are emotionally attached to the feeling you create inside them. There is still one thing they have never told anyone about, the exact moment they realized you were becoming impossible to forget. And when you hear it, the entire connection will make sense. There is a moment they keep hidden from everyone, a moment so small on the surface, yet so powerful that it changed the way they see you forever. And strangely, you probably do not even remember it happened. It was not during some dramatic conversation, not during a perfect romantic scene. It happened in silence. You were simply existing, unaware that someone was watching your energy with complete attention. And in that moment, they realized something that genuinely unsettled them. They were starting to care about you far more deeply than they planned to. They noticed the difference between how you dress when you feel emotionally safe and how you dress when you are protecting yourself from the world. They began sensing patterns, invisible emotional shifts hidden inside your appearance. When your heart feels heavy, your energy becomes quieter. When hope returns, there is suddenly lightness around you again. And the surprising part, they started waiting for those moments, waiting to see your energy soften, waiting to catch those rare seconds where your guard disappears, waiting to see your real self shine through effortlessly, because every time it happened, they felt something almost impossible to explain. Peace, not temporary attraction, not curiosity, peace. And in today's world, peace feels rarer than beauty. That is why this connection keeps growing stronger behind the scenes. They once tried distracting themselves from you. They told themselves they were imagining things, that maybe they were reading too deeply into your energy, that maybe your presence only felt special because of timing. But then something happened that erased all doubt. They saw someone dressed almost exactly like you. The same style, the same colors, the same aesthetic. Yet it felt completely different, empty, because it was never truly about clothes. It was always about the person inside them. And suddenly they understood the truth they had been avoiding. Nobody carries energy the way you do. Pause for a moment and think about that. Out of all the people they have met, out of all the faces they have seen, out of all the conversations they have had, why does your energy remain? Why do the smallest memories involving you refuse to disappear? The answer is beginning to reveal itself. They were never attracted to your appearance alone. They were responding to something deeper, something they could feel long before they could explain it. Because there is something about you that makes people feel emotions they cannot put into words. A softness hidden inside strength, a calmness mixed with hidden storms. A maturity shaped by experiences you rarely speak about openly. And they feel all of it. Sometimes they even wonder if you realize how much power your energy carries now, because the truth is you are no longer invisible the way you once felt. People notice you. Not everyone understands why, but they feel something, and they feel it strongest of all. Recently, they said something about you that surprised even the people closest to them. They said, when you walk into a room, it feels like the noise disappears for a second. Imagine being described that way, not because you demanded attention, not because you forced yourself to stand out, but because your energy naturally shifts the atmosphere around you. That realization hit them harder than they expected, because now they are beginning to understand that this connection is not surface level anymore. It is emotional, it is personal, it is transformative. You are becoming part of their inner world. And here is the truth they have not fully admitted yet. They are afraid someone else will recognize your value before they find the courage to express how deeply they feel. Yes, there is fear hidden inside their silence. Not toxic jealousy, not possessiveness. Fear. Fear that another person might notice the same details they noticed. The same authenticity, the same quiet beauty hidden beneath your ordinary moments. Because once someone truly feels your energy, forgetting you becomes difficult. They know this now. That is why they keep replaying memories involving you. Even when they try focusing elsewhere, your laugh appears suddenly in their thoughts. The image of you fixing your sleeves, the way you carry yourself when walking away, the strange calmness you create without even trying. Tiny moments, yet unforgettable ones. And lately they have been realizing something even deeper. You awakened emotions inside them they thought had disappeared forever. Hope, softness, the desire to build something meaningful instead of temporary. That is why this connection feels larger than attraction. Now it feels like something meaningful revealing itself through ordinary moments. Before you continue, hear this carefully. The way you present yourself to the world tells a story long before you speak, and they have been reading that story silently, piece by piece, until they finally understood what their heart was trying to tell them. You are not just someone they noticed. You are someone they feel drawn toward on a deeper level. And the next phase of this story becomes even more unexpected, because very soon they may stop hiding these feelings completely. The silence around this connection cannot last forever. Something is shifting already, and when the truth finally reaches you directly, you will understand why every small detail mattered from the very beginning. Something changed recently, and they are trying to act normal about it. But internally they are losing the ability to pretend your presence does not affect them anymore, because now it is no longer just admiration, it is emotional attachment mixed with anticipation. And that combination is powerful. They have started imagining conversations with you that have never happened. Imagining what your future routines would look like. Wondering what kind of mornings you prefer. Wondering if the version of you they sense so deeply is the same version hidden behind your quiet moments. You see, they have reached a delicate stage of connection, the stage where curiosity becomes emotional investment, and all of this started from the smallest observations. The way you carry yourself, the way your energy shifts through different environments, the way your appearance somehow reflects your inner evolution without you even trying. They once overheard someone describing another person as perfect, but strangely they felt nothing hearing it, because perfection no longer interests them. Realness does, depth does, the kind of energy that feels alive does, and every road inside their heart keeps leading back to you. There was a moment when they almost reached out to you impulsively, not because they had the perfect words prepared, but because holding everything inside was becoming exhausting. They replayed possible conversations, wondered how you would react if you truly knew how intensely they notice you, wondered whether you would understand, wondered whether you would smile, wondered whether you would pull away. But then fear interrupted them again. Not fear of rejection alone, fear of being understood too deeply, because they sense something unusual in this connection now, something that mirrors parts of themselves they normally hide from the world. And that kind of connection changes people. They secretly feel that you see through appearances the same way they do, that even if nobody else notices their hidden emotions, somehow you would. That possibility excites them and unsettles them equally, because being truly seen is one of the most beautiful and unnerving experiences a person can have, and deep down they are beginning to realize that you already see more than they ever expected.